In the last episode, we witnessed a monumental moment as Jin and Jia confessed their feelings to each other and finally decided to start going out. A long time ago, during their primary school days, a mean-spirited doodle, drawn by some whimsical twist of fate, turned into a reality after 20 years. At the second cafe, as everyone marveled at Jia's newfound glow and beauty, Ju-na-ri couldn't help but inquire, "Hey, manager, did you visit a dermatologist over the weekend?" Jia, pleasantly surprised, retorted, "Oh, Ms. Nari, what's with the sudden compliment? You won't gain anything from it, you know." Ju-na-ri, with a mischievous grin, continued, "It's not just about the compliment. Please, do tell me which place you visited. Or could it be that it's not your skin that has improved, but your expression?" Teasingly, she added, "If your expression has improved, manager, could it be because of your husband?" Jia, embarrassed, retorted, "What? If you have time to mouth off like that, then go do your job, clean a table or something." Indeed, Jia's expressions had improved significantly, and who could blame her? Anyone witnessing such a heartwarming scene would undoubtedly experience a boost in spirits. Jin, thoughtful as ever, brought food for Jia while returning from the office, and that simple gesture filled her with joy. However, as days passed, and on day 4, Jin continued this sweet routine for the entire week. Initially, Jia was elated, but as the days went by, the daily influx of food began to irritate her. Jia found herself struggling to contain her emotions, wondering why Jin insisted on bringing her gifts every day, and why it always had to be food. While she understood it was a gesture of love, she couldn't ignore the potential consequences for her waistline. Determined to address the issue without dampening Jin's enthusiasm, she decided to impose a ban on outside food. Bursting with frustration, she exclaimed, "Hey, Mincheol, from now on, no more buying food on the way back from work." Confused, Jin inquired, "But what happened all of a sudden?" Jia retorted, "All of a sudden, my foot. Do you know how many days in a row you have been bringing food home? I am gonna gain so much weight if this continues." Jin chuckled, "It's 0 calories as long as it's tasty." Irritated, Jia replied, "Says the one who didn't eat any of it. Furthermore, if I am going to get a gift, why does it have to be food? Isn't there anything else you can give me?" Jin explained, "Didn't you say before that you like charcoal over candles?" He then questioned, "So then it's fine if it's something else like flowers?" Jia hesitated for a moment and said, "Flowers? Those types of flowers? A plant-scented type?" Jin nodded, and Jia added, "Well, as long as it's not too often." The next day, when Jin came home, he brought an extra-large bouquet of flowers for Jia. However, instead of feeling delighted, Jia was overwhelmed with terror and disappointment. She couldn't comprehend the enormity of the bouquet and felt lost on where to even begin. Jin, looking concerned, asked, "What's the matter, Jia? Is something wrong?" Jia exploded, "Yeah, actually something is wrong. Why did you buy this?" Jin nervously explained, "You said that flowers were okay, and I thought the bigger, the better. So, those are flowers, right? I thought it was weird that they were on sale, as I thought the cheap ones are." Jia cut him off, "No, it's not the prices that are the problem, it's this entire thing itself. Jin Mincheol, let me give it to you straight, the gifts that you keep giving me are burdensome." Jin couldn't believe it and asked, "Seriously, since when?" Jia responded, "Every time other than the first 2 times. I am really grateful that you are giving me these gifts in consideration of me, but it's too much for me, so I start getting thoughts like, did I get into this relationship with him for this?" Jin apologized, "Sorry, I didn't know you felt that way." Jia said, No, it's not something you need to apologize for. To begin with, why do you keep on getting me gifts?" Jin nonchalantly replied, "That's because they make you happy." Jia pointed at him, "It's exactly that, the very thought process. What I like aren't the gifts, it's you." She felt so disappointed and got up, yelling, "Anyways, from now on, buying gifts is banned, got it?" Jin held Jia's hand and said, "Finish what you were saying before you go, so there are ways that I can make you happy without giving gifts. Can you tell me about those ways?" Jia hesitantly asked, "What ways do you mean?" Jin said, "You said so yourself, didn't you? What you want aren't gifts, but something from me. So if you tell me what that something is, I wouldn't make the same mistake again. And from now on, for the sake of our relationship." Saying that, he held Jia's hand so firmly. Initially, Jia couldn't understand what to answer, but she somehow gathered the words and with a triumphant grin on her face said, "Hey, Jin Mincheol, you really are amazing." Jin, being his usual dense self, asked, "What do you mean?" Jia irritatingly shouted, ugh, again with you pretending not to know what you're doing. I have noticed that you've become coyer recently. You keep on pretending not to be aware of what you're doing and can't seem to help but play around with me. Especially since you of all people are acting all high and mighty, Jia Mincheol. Jin had no idea what Jia was saying and asked, high and mighty. Did I do something wrong again? Jia said, no, I am actually complimenting you, though. For the record, I give today's events 82 Jia points. Means, try a little harder. Jin urgently asked, what are Jia points? Jia retorted, do I really need to spell that out for you? Listen up, it's a rating for how dangerously close I was to falling for you a second time. This is the answer to your earlier question. Just be your usual self, no need to overthink it. Be natural. I'm heading to bed. Don't stay up too late, see ya. Jin sat on the sofa, utterly perplexed, contemplating what Jia meant by usual self. In the bedroom, Jia herself was clueless about her words outside. Despite putting on a tough exterior, she couldn't be honest with herself. The one who lacked naturalness was her. Earlier, she got carried away in the moment, fully aware that if Jia Mincheol had pushed a bit harder, things could have taken a perilous turn. Suddenly, Jin swung the door open without a knock, and the force pushed Jia back. Angrily, she exclaimed, Mincheol, what the hell happened to knocking before opening the door? Jin swiftly apologized, saying, well, earlier when you told me to be my usual self, I think I understand what you meant. I just wanted to ask if you meant that thing with the letters X in it. Frustration boiled within Jia. She had given him space to breathe, and now he was overthinking. Fed up, she declared, do whatever you want. Jia dismissed her worries, deciding to deal with everything later. Jin, with hesitation in his voice, asked, so should we go there now? Jia, puzzled, questioned, go where? And that's how Jin led Jia to the gym. For Jin, something with the letters X meant exercise, not what Jia or anyone else might have assumed. Despite the confusion, Jia felt an unexpected happiness. She had no regrets about entering a relationship with him. Their day ended without further incidents. On the next sunny day, Su-yeon was relishing her waffle while strolling down the street. Suddenly, her gaze landed on a couple. Upon closer inspection, her waffle slipped from her hand, and her heart rate skyrocketed in shock. The couple she saw was none other than Choy Sang-woo, accompanied by an unknown girl. 30 minutes before this fateful encounter, Su-yeon reveled in the simple pleasure of enjoying her waffle alone. Her deliberate choice to dine in solitude stemmed from the constant need to regulate her eating habits whenever she and Choy went out together, a preemptive measure to avoid any judgment from him. This day was different. Su-yeon had decided to relish her meal to the fullest. However, her world crumbled abruptly when she unexpectedly stumbled upon Choy Sang-woo accompanied by another girl. Recollecting recent events, Su-yeon couldn't shake the suspicion that Sang-woo had been acting unusually, closely monitoring her every move and discreetly concealing his phone. Choi's rejection of her dinner invitation the previous day, citing plans with a friend, now took on a new meaning as she observed him with the mysterious girl. Though the girl's eyes briefly met Su-yeon's as she trailed behind them, she nonchalantly continued walking, seemingly oblivious. A momentary relief washed over Su-yeon, but the undeniable closeness between Choy and the girl fueled her determination. They must be more than mere acquaintances. Trying to reassure herself, Su-yeon muttered to calm down, insisting they were just good friends. With those words, she hastily fled the scene. Little did she know, the reality was starkly different. The girl with Choy was none other than his sister. Choy expressed his gratitude to his sister, saying, "Hey sis, thanks for today. You're a real lifesaver." His sister, wearing an amused smile, replied, "No worries. After all, you promised to take responsibility for me, didn't you?" Choy, in a jesting manner, made a gesture of servitude, stating, "Of course, my queen." A peculiar twist of fate unfolded at the restaurant, leading Su-yeon to encounter Choy and his sister once again. Witnessing their conversation and closeness, Su-yeon felt a surge of irritation and sadness, prompting her swift departure. As she walked away, thoughts swirled in her mind. Why were Choy and that girl becoming so close if they were just friends? Su-yeon questioned whether everything Choy had said and done was a charade. Despite resolving to withhold her anger until she had all the facts, her girlfriend mindset disagreed. Coincidence or not, wherever Su-yeon went, she found herself face to face with Choy and his sister. The persistent encounters led Su-yeon to ponder whether the girl with Choy possessed an uncanny ability to predict her movements. Seizing an opportunity while Choi's sister entered the bathroom, Soo-yeon, already waiting inside, confronted her, saying, "If you have something to say to me, you should spit it out instead of chasing me around." Choi's sister smiled innocently and asked, "What's there to tell you?" Soo-yeon, feeling a bit agitated, responded, "It might just be my imagination, but it feels as if you are following me." Choi's sister maintained her smile and said, "Oh, it seems like I've seen you in front of the store by chance. By any chance, do you know me? I'm sorry, I'm not good at memorizing people's faces. If I remember correctly, I think this is our first time meeting. Have we met at a wedding before? Or a birthday party?" Soo-yeon, now more irritated, said, "It is our first time seeing each other." Choi's sister continued her casual demeanor, "Then you must not have struck up a conversation with me because you were waiting for me to start it." "Oh, our Sang-woo, maybe it's because of him." The mention of our Sang-woo caught Soo-yeon's attention, and she asked, "Excuse me, how do you know our Sang-woo?" Choi's sister responded casually, Let's see, every day we ate together and slept together at the same house, I guess something like that." "Then what about you? What's your relationship with him?" Soo-yeon was momentarily stunned and managed to stammer, "Work, colleague." Choi's sister continued, "Oh, that was the case. Is our Sang-woo adapting well at the job?" Suddenly, Soo-yeon exclaimed, "And now, I am the girlfriend of that dummy." "I don't know what you have to do with Sang-woo, nor do I want to know, but I am his current girlfriend." Hearing that, Choi's sister started laughing out loud. She then revealed that all those cozy things she did were on purpose just to tease the girl who was looking at her. Choi's sister introduced herself properly to Soo-yeon, saying, "Hello, my name is Yeonji, Choi Sang-woo's elder sister." Soo-yeon also introduced herself, "Nice to meet you, my name is Soo-yeon." Yeonji said, "Whoa, I have heard a lot about you, new sister." Soo-yeon was flabbergasted by the term new sister. Yeonji continued, "Oh, I don't know what to call you since you are my brother's girlfriend. I can call you sister, right?" Soo-yeon, feeling a bit embarrassed, agreed. After a few minutes, Yeonji left, saying, "I'll leave you alone now. See you next time, Soo-yeon sis." After Yeonji left, Choi asked, "By the way, Chief, what brings you here? You work from home today, so why did you come close to the company?" Soo-yeon explained, "I just had something to buy, so I came here, and my eyes met with your sisters by chance." Soo-yeon earnestly apologized to Choi, "Then I am sorry since I somehow disturbed your family time." Choi quickly responded, "No, I am sorry, Chief." Soo-yeon, confused, asked, "About what?" "There's no need for you to say sorry for not telling me with whom you were going." Choi insisted, "No, I am sorry because of another thing." "Should I tell you or not?" "I have been worrying about this until now, but I thought it'd be better to just tell you rather than hesitate like this." Soo-yeon felt a surge of tension, wondering why Sang-woo was sorry and hesitating. She imagined, could that maybe mean? She held her thoughts in the middle and said, "I see. Thank you for everything, Sang-woo. For the last few weeks we have been dating, I was really happy. It must have been really uncomfortable to date me, right? I am sorry. I also wanted to treat you well. I tried really hard, but it didn't work out, but don't worry about it. I won't resent you for this." Saying all that, she started crying. Choi urgently tried to stop her from crying, saying, "Wait a second. Why are you digging a hole for yourself all of a sudden?" Soo-yeon, sobbing, said, "Weren't you deliberately trying to avoid me recently?" Choi adamantly said, "Of course not." He extended his hand, and there was a ring in it. He said, "When I brought it up last time, I remember you telling me that you thought it'd be embarrassing, but I wanted to leave a mark after all, something to show that I became lovers with Soo-yeon Sunbae." Soo-yeon's face flushed with embarrassment and confusion. But Choi still continued, "So, will you accept it?" At the same time, Jin and Jia arrived home from the gym. Jin, with a playful grin, said to Jia, "Jia, you worked really hard today, so I wanted to give you a reward." Jia, taken by surprise, blushed, "Mincheol, you're giving a reward to me? I mean, you say, reward all of a sudden, I'm kinda surprised. What reward is it?" Jin smiled mischievously and playfully stunned Jia on the back with a stun gun. Jia shouted and woke up from her nightmare. While walking out of the room, Jia couldn't fathom why in the world she gets these types of weird dreams after a heavy workout. Suddenly, Jia collided with someone. It was Jin Mincheol in front of her, and he asked, "Did you just wake up?" Seeing Jin without his glasses, looking incredibly handsome, Jia couldn't handle her emotions and looked away. Jin asked her, "What's going on? Did something happen?" Jia replied, no, it felt like something just went into my eyes. When Jia sat in the kitchen, she pondered about Jin's appearance without glasses, how good he looked. Then, a memory struck her, she remembered how Jin looked when he was young. If she remembered correctly, Jin was remarkably good-looking in his childhood. While they were young, Jia playfully did girls' makeup on Jin's face in front of the whole class and made him say, Appa. After making fun of Jin like that, she felt a twinge of guilt and tried to convince him that he shouldn't get angry, it was just a joke. Jin, with a calm facade, said, I am not mad, so leave it. However, Jia sensed that he was genuinely upset and said, I am really sorry. It was the first time seeing you without glasses, and you were cuter than I thought, so I couldn't help it. Jin interrupted her, stop, don't say that, don't call me cute. I am a guy, you know, I'd rather be called cool. Geez, even my mom, dad, and all my sisters. Why do they all think I am cute without glasses? Jia burst into laughter, so that's what it was. Is that why you don't want to take your glasses off? It's like you said, you do seem cooler with your glasses on. Mincheol, you are being told that you are cute because you have big eyes and long eyelashes. Since you wear big glasses to cover your face a little, you look a little more manly, I guess. Jin nervously asked, really? Jia teasingly responded, nope. Why don't you try taking those glasses off again? I need to check again to be sure. Back then, Jia felt like she had uttered something incredibly significant without realizing it. She called out Mincheol's name and cutely said, hey, I was wondering, regarding those glasses, are you wearing them to look cool? Jin asked, what's that supposed to mean? Jia said, no, I am sorry if I came across weirdly. I just wondered whether you've been wearing those same glasses since you were little. I wanted to know if there was a specific reason. Jin got surprised a bit and explained, I guess it just feels comfortable. My job entails staring at a computer screen and a bunch of small text a lot. In that sense, big lenses put less strain on my eyes and make me feel comfortable. That sounds about right, they are not in grade school anymore, after all. Jia and Jin said their goodbyes and started to walk to their workplaces. Jin might have shown that he didn't remember what Jia was talking about regarding the glasses earlier, but in reality, he remembers every word Jia said to him. At the second cafe, Jia was still pondering about Jin and his annoying glasses. Seeing that, Ju-na-ri came to Jia and said, what's the matter, Manager Uni, did something happen? Jia said, no, nothing in particular. Suddenly, Jia's eyes widened as her gaze fell upon the book Ju-na-ri was reading. The title was, Could It Be the Summer That Makes Me Warm, by Flaming Chicken Feet. Back when Jia was still clueless and fearlessly wrote, her embarrassing debut work was the, Could It Be the Summer That Makes Me Warm? At that same time, she got to feel the author's joy when she found out how much people were liking her novel. But now she was in disbelief, wondering why all of a sudden Miss Na-ri had that book with her. Jia was not sure, but she thought it's not certain about its current sales, yet she was sure it sold pretty well back when she published it. Even though it's been years for her, it was so embarrassing seeing somebody reading her work in front of her. It made her want to see their reaction. Since Ju Na-ri didn't know the book she is reading is written by Jia, Jia asked her, Miss Na-ri, how's the book? Is it good? Ju Na-ri irritatingly said, Ack, you scared me. What's with the look on your face? Jia again asked, well, how's the book? Ju Na-ri said, honestly, it sucks. Firstly, the whole mood of the book doesn't fit this era. You'd think that a middle schooler wrote this or something, but it's fun. It's somewhat old and kind of a mess, but it's easy to read, I guess. And it did say that it won an award or something. Hearing that, Jia finally felt some happiness on her face. Jia urgently asked Ju Na-ri, but why read a book during your break all of a sudden? Ju Na-ri responded, because I need to write a report. You probably don't know about it, manager, but it's Cafe 2ND's best welfare benefit. We get 100,000 won for each report turned in, and this time we have to write a report on this book. The mention of 100,000 won left Jia in sheer shock. Ju Na-ri pressed on, so that's all. There are 52 weeks in a year, so if you turn in one report every week, she'll pay for your overseas trip. Jia questioned, why would she go so far? Ju Na-ri explained, boss said something about it helping with her writing activities, and she said that it'd be nice if at least someone would give her favorite works a read. As the cafe closed, Jia still struggled to comprehend what Ju Na-ri had disclosed in the morning. Why would someone pay 100,000 won per report? After closing the cafe, Jia walked home with Jin and asked him, hey Mincheol, let's say somebody told you that they would give you 100,000 won for every book report you turned in. Would you do it? Jean was dumbstruck hearing that and finally said, "What's that, a new type of scam?" Jia replied, "No, it's something from the workplace." Jean nervously cautioned, "Listen, Jia, there's no such thing as an easy way to make money. 100,000 won for 500 characters, so 201 per character. They'll pay you such an amount just for a little typing. It may seem enticing, but you need to be cautious. It may be something like a pyramid scheme, and you are falling into their trap." At night, Jia held her own book in her hand, contemplating the offer she heard from Ju Na-ri. She confirmed this from Saiwoo, who told her that it's real. If there's something that guilt her, it was her conversation with Yeonju when she was young. Jia had told Yeonju that she would not be writing anymore. After making that statement, here she was, strictly speaking, this was just a report. But her inner old self said that a report is also considered as writing, yet Jia's current self muted her, saying it's no harm to anyone if she writes a single report on a book for 100,000 won. Well, if Yeonju gets angry with her, she decided that she would just bend over and apologize. After deciding all that, she immediately wrote a report, checked the word count, and finally sent it. Immediately, her phone rang with a message. When she looked at it, her eyes widened. She rushed over to Jean, shouting his name and said, "It really came, 100,000 won." Jean was in disbelief hearing that. At the same time, Na Youngduk was scrolling his phone when someone raised a glass in front of him. It was Yeonju, who had a grin on her face, and she said, "See, Mr. Editor, I was right.